Welcome back to Books with Duddy. Today we have another spoiler-free review. This time we're going to talk about Fantasticland. I can say that I'm probably not going to gain many fans from this review, but I just have to be honest on my thoughts on this book. So, yeah. On Thursday, or possibly depending on whenever you're watching this already, I will also have a full spoiler discussion video about the book on my channel where I go more in depth on the twists, the ending, and all of that kind of stuff. So I keep this video spoiler free, and then that following video I'll talk about the spoilers. But let's dig into this book. So Fantasticland is a book that the easiest comparison, and one that I read online, is that it's kind of a Lord of the Flies meets like Hunger Games type of ish battle royale type of thing, which sounds awesome. Basically, it's about these workers in a theme park. They get stuck in the middle of a hurricane, a very bad hurricane. And so all of these workers are trapped inside this theme park, and they don't get rescued right away. And basically we learn quickly that things all went to hell. Again, sounds awesome. But that's kind of the gist. So as far as like the writing style of the book is told in like interview format. So every chapter is an interview with a different person who was in the park during this time. There are one or two people who have multiple interviews, but for the most part it's all separate people. And again, that sounds awesome. So the first thing that I didn't love, this book has pretty long chapters in my opinion. Some 15, 16, 17 pages. And even though like it's interview style, and like there's times when a paragraph will take up the entire page. It'll just be like one paragraph. Which I get, it's like interview style, but you can still make paragraphs. That annoyed me, but that is, not a big deal. So I mentioned already that, we talk to all these different characters, and it's an interview format, and they're retelling their story of what happened in the park. And to be quite honest with you, I just didn't care about these characters at all. Every single one of their stories was stupid. Nobody made a choice that made sense ever. I'll take that back. There was one chapter in this book where I actually cared about the character, and the person, what they were doing made sense. But all these other characters, they're doing all these things, and there's just no explanation as to why. Now, I already mentioned, it's not a spoiler, that things go to shit in this park. But it doesn't ever make sense. I kept waiting for it to make sense why, and it just didn't. The author throws some reasoning out there, but it just still doesn't make any sense. So anyways, we're talking to these characters, and I just don't care about the characters. About 3 or 4 chapters in, I was honestly bored of reading the book. But I was going to finish it, and I was like, I've read so many good things online about this book, like, it has to pick up. And it just didn't, for me. Again, this is my opinion, and I might be in the minority on this one. And so, like I mentioned, everything goes to hell, and so you can gather from that, I think, that there ends up being violence in the park. again, the violence just, it made no sense at all. And, there's, I would say, some spoiler-ish reasons why it made no sense, so I'll refrain from talking about those. But it just literally made no sense at all what was happening in the park. And I mentioned this earlier a little bit, but there's some themes in this, like about like tribalism and human nature and survival and all that, but it's all so shallow, and again, it just doesn't make any sense for what happened in the park. I never, anytime there was anything that was supposed to be like, I don't know, scary or, I don't know, edgy or whatever, it was just more cringy to me. Like, what is going on? Why is this literally makes no sense at all. So, I mean, like I said at the beginning, the idea, I love the idea of the story. And one thing I think the author did do a good job of is kind of the world building of the theme park. I had a vivid, visual in my brain of kind of like what this theme park looked like and, what was there. And I really liked that. And the interview format was something different. Even though I didn't like necessarily how long the chapters were, and I thought the interviews themselves were boring, I like that format. And I think for me, with a different story, that could be a really cool format. My final thoughts on this before I give my rating is just, I just didn't care about the characters at all, except for one. So, and that's rare for me because I get attached to characters and, people and things easily. Especially like in media, and books or movies or whatever. So that was rare for me. So honestly, I hated this book. And I think it's a me thing because I know other people love this book. This might be cooler as a movie to me or a TV show. But this book was not for me. I'm going to give this book a 2.5 out of 10. It was just not for me. I need a book that ropes me in emotionally, and I need a book that, I can suspend disbelief, but there has to be some things that are believable. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on this one. I have a feeling if anybody ever does actually watch this video that has read the book, I'm going to get a lot of disagreement, but that's okay. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and maybe I missed some things. That's part of the reason why I started this channel. Maybe I'm missing things. So again, let me know your thoughts. If you made it this long, I appreciate it. I've rambled on this one a while. But if you did enjoy, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. And otherwise, I hope to see you soon.